First, it says, Vayikach ben Bokar, Ach v'toy, Vayitan el anar, Vayamar lasasoy. So he took a good calf, and he gave it to the lad, to the boy. He should shecht it, and he quickly prepared the meat. Now, Sheilos is a shliach. His wife runs also a catering business, like many shluchim who also do kosher catering. And there was a choshev family. They came and they stayed in a newly built hotel down the block from the Beis Chabad. They were staying there for a whole week, and there was a big oilam. And they asked that the shliach should cater breakfast, lunch, and supper for the entire week. So the shlucha is set up for it. She has a wait staff, she has dishes, v'chulu, but it's a lot of work. So she hired a chef, a frum chef that travels around. If you organize a party, if you have an event for a week or two, he'll come down and he'll do all the cooking. You give him the staff, he does the cooking. Okay, good. The shlucha doesn't have to be the chef. She just organizes everything, and okay, very nice. So here's the shaila. Comes the first day, and two of the waitresses come to the rabbi in Ebbetson, and they said that the chef asked that they should by night they should come to his room to be mezana with him, and they refused. And so the Mela, no, the waitresses asked the Rav what to do because the chef is requesting they should come to dimezana with him. They are goyim, but they were like upset about it. They were upset that the chef would have such a chutzpah to ask them to be mezana. And then when they refused, he didn't let up. First of all, he was being very not nice to them as a retaliation, and secondly, he requested that they should find a replacement. If they can't do it, they should find a replacement. So now the shliach shaila is like this: could you rely on the kashrus of such a person? He comes, he looks like a frum yid, coming from a very frum neighborhood, al shtein gut. And if a person could do such a thing, how could we rely on his kashrus? Could you rely on his kashrus? Now the thing is, like with a lot of hashgochas, if the chef is a frum yid, then they don't have a mashgiach tmidi there, because he's a frum yid. The chef is himself a frum yid, so they're relying on him that he opens the fridge and he closes the fridge and he locks the fridge and he opens the fridge. And he takes the deliveries and he's checking the lettuce. V'chulu, 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 v'chulu. V'chulu, v'chulu. So now the shliach was asking, could he rely on the chef or not? Okay. That was the shaila.
Suppose they're relying on the chef to check the bugs.
But that's the way it is. He's a frum yid.
There's so much to do that it's so tedious.
Yeah.
Why they didn't fire the chef?
This guy is the question was asking me. It was already that was the day that the mishpacha left, and everything left, and then he asked me the shaila. It occurred to him then, I don't know. He asked me the shaila. So his shaila was also two things. In the next event, could he use this chef or not? And the second thing is he knows the chef is going out to another shliach in a couple of weeks to do an event. Is he allowed to tell the shliach about this lashon hara, not lashon hara? Is he mechuyev to tell him? Is he allowed to tell him? Is he not allowed to tell him? Okay.
These waitresses are neman?
Well, this is all part of the shaila.
Yeah, it's good. Not Aiden.
Right.
Everyone has their titles. Listen,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
does that make it possible?
So that's the shaila. So
He's a shliach siddur.
the answer is like this. There's a din shulchan aruch it's a makuf yutesiv zayin. Mishu mefursam echem aveda shebatoyro chutz ma'avedes kechavam chil Shabbos b'faresh she'ein mama b'divrei Rabbeinu neman b'shari surim. A person which is mefursam that he does avedis, but he doesn't do avedis kechavam and chil Shabbos b'faresh, and he doesn't go around saying he doesn't believe in divrei Rabbeinu, then he's believed in all other isurim. Besides in this isur which he's involved in other words, if he eats tarfas, you can't. He tells you this is kosher. You can't believe in that it's kosher. But if it's someone else's food, not his food, you ask him which is a kosher restaurant. He says, "Oh, on Avenue J over there, there's a kosher. It's really kosher. Yeah, it's really kosher." But he doesn't eat kosher. It doesn't matter. You could trust him. So this answers really the simple shaila. Could you trust that this guy, that the meat, when he opens the fridge and closes the fridge, that not chas v'sholom, that he's taking a delivery of tarfus and putting it in instead? Shaila is, could we trust in tedious work? It takes a lot of work to check greens for toiloim. Could we trust? Okay, so we're not going to think that this yid is going to go out of his way and put in terefa meat. But the shaila is, could we trust on the sensitive things like bedikas toiloim? So for this, we have to look a little further into the sugya.
What does get a bishloch here mean?
Michelle, other ones. Not in other words, if he tells you if he's a mumer to eat tarfus, his food, you can't trust if he tells you it's kosher. But if he tells you another eats food is kosher, you can trust him that the other eats food is kosher.
Why?
Why? Because we say that he's about taivas, so for himself he can't be trusted. But for someone else, he has.
He doesn't have taivas.
Right, exactly. So it says in the Maseches Chulin like this: Dav Gimel Amad Omar Rava Yisrael Mumer Eichel Memelas L'Tayov and Boydek Sakim V'Noisen Loimut Alechel Meshchitosai. That if Yisrael is a mumer, he eats nevela, but he does it L'Tayovan. Not chas v'shalom that he doesn't believe in the Eibishter, but never. He likes tarfus. So what do? If he knows how to shech, you check the sakim, you give him the sakim, and then muta lechol b'shchitos. If you didn't check the sakim, you can't give it to him. Rashi Toysus, all the Mefarshim say why? Because it's a very sensitive thing. To check a sakim, it's a very tedious job. A person who is eating the velos l'tayovan, we don't trust that he's going to go and check, and if there's a little pekima, he's going to go fix it. He doesn't have that.
Sensitivity.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. You see, he's for when he has a taiva, he goes and he eats tarfus.
Also, the book of Fichot Shchita is a thick one.
No, that we trust. He's a genius. We trust him in shchita, and therefore, even though the small halachas shehiyah drasa chalot, we trust. But we don't trust because he's not only over aveda l'tei'oven. If he did it lahachiz, we wouldn't trust anything. But he's doing it l'tei'oven, so but there's something that's sensitive. We say, this guy, he's going to shech good, he might be brilliant, and he knows all the halachas. But he doesn't have the sensitivity to check the knife.
And the way we know if he's doing it with Te'over or L'Hachis is if he keeps other mitzvahs.
Well, I don't know, how do you know if it's
That's not
l'tov
it.
or
How do you know?
l'hachis?
How do you
So
know?
the Mefarshim say, they say, it's that he only eats tarfus when he doesn't have kosher in front. Okay. It means he travels abroad. And Nebach, they're eating that way,
Okay, but also you didn't go into McDonald's.
So that's not. If he's on Avenue J and he goes into McDonald's, that's not called Eichel Navelis L'Te'oven. That's not called, unless he can prove it otherwise. And the Te'oven means that he comes to a city and there's no kosher restaurants. There's no kosher restaurant.
Te'oven, what does a little translate to? It's like
For Taiva.
Right, so why is that the definition? When he only goes away.
No, but
You don't
here
know.
is clear. Otherwise, you have to know. The Mefarshim say that if you see that there's two stores, one kosher and one treif, and he goes into the treif, then how can you say it's l'teyov?
Tayavan is enjoyment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then you have to
I
know.
take some there.
Okay, so then you have to know. But when do you know clearly it's teyov? Or in this town, he doesn't have. He's hungry.
Once
He's
he has a chazaka that he eats treif, it should be at any minute, at any time.
So you have to know. Huh?
We should ask him, otherwise we'll assume he's a failure.
Right.
Okay, so
Chayla
over time, there's people that you figure out over time what they are doing.
doesn't eat at McDonald's.
Maybe he does.
It
Okay,
makes you sicker.
if you see him going into yeah,
No, it's worse.
Trump eats every night.
Trump's a nut. His trans fats are way overboard. He has
He eats
trans
a
fatty.
cheeseburger every night.
So maybe you have to be
let's continue. But if you didn't check the knife, you can't let him shech. If he did shech, boydek sakin acher, you check the sakin after the shchita. Nimmt sakin yof, mutal lechl mishchitas, and lav also lechl mishchitas. If you check the sakin later, it's also good. If it's good, then it's good. Because the shechnarach paskins mumer lechl mishar avedis ain't tzarich lidek le sakin. How about if he's not a mumer to eat nevelis? He's a mumer that for other avedis, but not for oichel nevelis. Nothing to do with Avelis. It's a movement to do other Avelis. So what's the din? Over there, you don't have to check a sakin. The Rambam says that this is only example. When the Rabbi said Yisrael Mumer Eichel Navelis L'Toyava, that you have to be Boydek Sakin, is an example. It could be any Aveda.
Right.
Any Aveda. And the Mephoshim say, Fakeh, over here it's a Chiddush, even though it's Eichel Navelis, if you're Boydek Sakin, it's going to help. V'davke b'mumer l'Aveda, misha posel l'Eidos b'Aveda, l'Aveda shel Toida, ain't tzarech livdek l'Yisakin afilo l'Rambam. If he's posel l'Eidos, then even the Rambam will ask him, it's fine. What's the difference of a mumer and posel l'Eidos? And most Mephoshim say that it means, posel l'Eidos means you caught him once doing an Aveda. So he's already posel l'Eidos. But he doesn't become a mumer to that. He was caught once doing an Aveda. Right, Herigel means that he's a mumer. Now,
And he doesn't need aid.
huh?
No, he doesn't need to have aid and warning.
Right, doesn't have to have a
But it says that you can trust the street. It doesn't mean that you have to. That a butcher shop's going to be very successful.
No, it doesn't at all.
Usually the butcher has to be the most honest.
Not only that, you're right. There is a whole pilpul. Alter Rebbe has a Siman Aleph that this is only talking about Bakroi. Not that this guy can't be the shochet of the town. He can't be the shochet of the town.
Right.
The Forshim ask like this: that there's a simple din that's born in Siman Aleph in Yehudadeya, that a person that finds he has a cow in his backyard. He comes tomorrow, and he finds that the cow is not alive anymore. Someone shechted it. Half the meat was taken, the other half was left as a gift for him. But it looks like it's geshechten kelchosa.
They left the neck there.
Yeah, and they left. They were kind. They only took the Ganim only took how much meat he wants to eat, and they left him the rest of the meat. Yeah.
What a story.
And he did it in the winter. He did it in the winter when he knew the meat wouldn't spoil.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is that Roi Mitzoyin is a shchita kosher, and you could rely on the kashrus, you can eat the meat. So the Parsha and all the Mephoshim ask, wait a minute, but the guy that shechted it is a ganav. So the Parsha answers that but he got him one time, and he did it b'tzina.
Maybe he was dying.
He did it one time, and he did it b'tzina.
How do we know it was only one time?
We don't know. But we'll assume that it was one time.
Well, it's a suffix. So maybe it's not one time.
No, but it's
Sound like Kafskos.
Well, no, because a Yid has a cheskes kashrus.
Oh, so that makes the difference.
Right. The Yid has a cheskes kashrus. So therefore, you're allowed to eat. The Bach says no, it's not true. If you catch someone doing an Aveda, then you have to be boidig the sakin. Gneva is different. Unbelievable teres the Bach says. Shlomo Melech says a Mishlei, lo yavoizu l'ganav ki yignev l'mal nafshe ki yidav. You have to understand the Ganav. He's never hungry. You have to understand the Ganav. You can't say, listen, this guy, how could it be? This guy is wearing Shemayna Begudim, and he's such a choshev a man in the community, and we find out that he's a Ganav in his business. Yeah, you have to give him a pass on this thing. Not Chas v'Shalom that it's less than Aveda. But Shlomo says you have to understand him.
It's a kosher ganav.
Yeah, so the Bach says...
He's a complicated guy.
Complicated Ganav. That's a nice way of saying it. So it says Roiv Gam v'Yisrael. Unbelievable Maimon Chazal. Yeah, Roiv Gam v'Yisrael. Roiv Gam v'Yisrael.
This better not. Yeah, don't put this. Take that out, David.
And Stam Yisrael.
No.
I know, but still, I don't know why the Bach is saying. I don't understand.
What paragraph are we in?
We're in the paragraph Hiksha Meforshim. So the last two lines. Teida, he says. Roiv Gam v'Yisrael. Stam Yisrael kosher l'shchita. So Roiv Gam v'Yisrael and Stam Yisrael is kosher l'shchita. Since Roiv the Ganovim Yisrael, and now, so why is the Stam Yisrael kosher l'shchita? Elamai Geneva is different. Amol you see is a Yid, is a choshev Yid, and he's sitting in the Mizrach, and then you find out that Rachman Litzlan in his business he's a Ganav. Nabach, he bagavets people. So how could you the Sheilos is how should you treat him? Maybe you should stop giving him COVID in the base. No, you say no. Listen, Geneva, you have to understand. Nebach, the Yid has a lot of expenses. He has to pay tuition for his kindlach in yeshiva. Yeah, you have to understand. Not that it became a mitzvah. The Geneva is still naveda, but pass less judgment on him. Okay, unbelievable tenet to the Bach. But however, what's the nafkamina between the Bach and the Parsha? If the guy's not stealing, the guy you clearly caught him. He was mazana with a goya. So over here you can't say the teretz of the Bach, but you could say the teretz of the Prisha. He did it betzina, he did it quietly, he did it one time. That you could say. So what's the halacha? Helf the Eibishter, the Alter Rebbe wrote on Yeredeya, and Ladina, this is what the Alter Rebbe writes. Ladina Posak Ashulchan Aruch Harav, Sikot Yud Gimel, Tzorich. Afid, the Alter Rebbe writes, Afid L'ikuv, the Heicher, the Leibot Kula Yasakel, Lebetchilah, Lebesef, Shchitas Asura. If you didn't check the Sakin, then it's the Shchitas Asur. He takes it from the Shach. The Kim and the Chazin and Shalav Tavoso, over al Echad min Avedish Matoida. We see that for his pleasure, he's over on one of the Avedas, Chashin in the Poker Tfei, where Choshish that he has a big Afkedis in him. Shalolakaim Shemitzvah Kelchosa Ad Kolosh Narosh. These are the words of the Rosh, which the Rosh is explaining the shit of the Rambam. Venira Midvoro, Alter Rebbe's Medayik, even though the Rosh himself argues on the Rambam, because he explains the shit of the Rambam, it's mashma the hochin aktina that the Rosh also believes that Allah is like the Rambam, and the Bach paskins the way, and the Rashal and the Shulchan Aruch the Alter Rebbe holds paskins the way in Siv Zayin the Shach. Bottom line, this is the halacha. That's talking halacha like the Rambam. The halacha is that if you catch a guy doing even one aveda, when it comes to sensitive things like checking a basak and shal shchita, you can't rely on him. But what does the Alter Rebbe say aveda means? Lex ois yudalid la aveda hainu shumuid. It has to be that he's a rogil. He does it all the time. The Kutzach in the next paragraph is explained. If you caught him doing that Veda once, you would say, oh, Nebuch had a big Yetzirah and he couldn't stand up to his Yetzirah. And he doesn't go out to the Cheskas Kashrus and the Cheskas Yireh Shemayim Ustam Kol Yisrael. And we say the Nebuch that the Yetzirah was battling with him, and he lost the battle this one time. But otherwise, he has a Cheskas Kashrus. So therefore, okay. Therefore, back to our Shaila. L'chayra. Number one, it was one time. Number two, he wasn't over b'poel mamish. It was also b'tzina, and the biggest thing is
it wasn't over b'poel mamish.
No, the women weren't. He asked them to be mezana, but they were not maska.
Oh, going back to the chef.
Yeah, going back, right, the chef. And anyway, who says that those women have an amonus? Right. They weren't masiach l'fitumo. Could be. I mean, I said this to the shliach. He said, no. I said, but I understand. They came to report. In other words, they're saying, oh, we're really good people. We're really ethical people.
Me too.
Not azoi.
Yeah.
Exactly. And but this guy that's screaming at us and yelling at us,
he's a behemoth.
He is a behemoth. So, okay. So it's true, you notice that he's screaming at them and yelling at them. And you notice other things that he's doing, that he's not a fine person. And he doesn't deserve mafta yoina. But good, but the shaila is there still an amonus for these goyish women?
Well, claiming this.
I'm claiming, and there's no shnaim edim by them. So even though it's more than one came to say it, but what's the difference? Who says there's an amonus? So there's a few nakudas. Who says the women have an amonus to say?
Yes.
If it was true, it happened one time. And he didn't go publicly. He asked them betzina. I mean, he asked them to come to his room betzina. And the bottom line is they said no, so he didn't do it. So Lepoili wasn't over the Aveda. So therefore I think that he shouldn't tell any other shluchim about it. If he doesn't want to take on this chef again, then versteht sich, a person, you're not mechuyev to take...
Did he confront the chef?
No, he didn't. He said it was a very difficult person to work with.
Oh.
Why
And
do we want another chef?
Why did he hire him?
He's asking me.
He
didn't fire him.
He didn't know.
Why?
Oh, he was
Why did he find
the event?
He has an event with 50, 60 people in the hotel. They're relying on them for breakfast, lunch, and supper. What is he going to do?
Yeah, but now he knows he's a difficult person. Why wouldn't he tell them she's a difficult person?
He
You
could
didn't
not
know?
say. He could tell. I don't think he's allowed to tell this story. It's a mamish beged loshen hora, I think,
And it could be completely
because
false.
it could be completely false.
Yeah, they must have been angry.
But what
They could have been angry.
What
He's a difficult guy.
They could have just made it up because
What
they
happens if he goes to a shliach and does it again by the other shliach?
Well, again,
Still the
they
same
could be
thing.
the two women could get upset at him and say that there's no aiding.
And I don't think he could tell the story, specifics of the story. Perhaps he could call another shliach and say, look, I had a very difficult time with him. I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about this guy.
Right.
He's not an easy guy to work with. I don't know. That's begeder lashon hara. Look,
But Rabbi, maybe he gave them a hard time. He was very tough on them. So they said, you know what, let's get
that's
him
what,
get him
right,
there.
that's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
What's the
It's
worst
happened
thing?
a lot. A lot of places.
A lot of people.
Just said, oh, he wanted
Right.
to do
Fake
And
claims.
the shliach tells me, no, it's impossible. I know them for many years.
He knows the waitresses.
He knows the waitresses for many years. He's been, his wife has been using these two women for many years, and they're nemonas.
Still, right?
Maybe you should go to the chef and say, listen,
No,
I heard this about you. I'm not going to tell anybody, but I think I suggest you do that.
that's another thing.
another thing.
No, David.
If there's always a mitzvah, if he thinks that if he called up this guy and he would actually, that the person would actually take it to heart, then for sure it's a mitzvah to do. If he thinks that the person will become offensive and maybe even chas v'shalom try to retaliate against him, then
Stay away.
just don't hire this guy again, and that's it. But I don't think you could go around telling other shluchim or other catering businesses such a thing. I think it's too weak
It's a
to
derisa.
Huh?
It's a derisa.
of lashon hara. I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like if you talk did it, it's not. It's a derisa.
It's a is well. It is no. It's a isur deraisa because
What is?
with sleeping with a shiksa,
What's the stop it?
it's znus. It's znus. It's an isur of znus. It's not eating lo tischaten. It's not getting married. It's not getting married. There's no.
The Zohar says that
It's not
right.
Right. No, it's a geder of znus. It's not being over one of
It's
the.
a mummer. It's a mummer.
So
It's a mummer.
it becomes if he does it all the time, and he does it with parhesia, then
But if he goes with Zionist, even in Beth Sinner, he's a mummer.
even b'tzina.
He's in
He does it all the time.
Right.
He does it all the time. What? It's interesting connection to our parsha. Not stam a connection, but it says that when he gave the ben aboker to make it, Rashi says he gave it to Yishmael lechanchen b'mitzvahs. So you could say, how could he give it to Arosha to Shech? So the answer by Parsha says, at that point it was not Arosha Yishmael. That
What's
point
the
it was probably a
having?
tzaddik.
What's the having?
Later, Sora said, and David said, Vayeira, right? Vayeira b'einei Avram al oidus b'noi. So Chazal say,
You turn that off?
Okay. Okay, let them hamshim.
al sheyotze l'tar b'sirah, because he was upset that his son went off the derech.
Yeah, the first 3 days ago.
Now this is a cheskes kasha. But the other one is interesting. Look in the brackets
No,
here.
maybe Abraham was shochet and Ishmael was.
But no, that's not what it says. It
No?
says he gave it to him to make the shech. And look what I have here in the brackets. Parsha Seinu, it says Ze Yishmael lechanche b'mitzvahs. How do you give it l'rosha? Tzarich lev v'esher kosher. But the Medrash Chayfet says Ze Eliezer. V'yamar lasas oisem mekan she'en shechna shitna l'rishus. Medrash Bir says nosen l'rishus she'ishchet mekan she'shchitas avodim ksheira. From here we learn a din that shchitas avodim is ksheira. So the Welt fragt Steile, what do you mean? The Mishnah says shchitas avodim ksheira. The Shulchan Aruch says shchitas avodim psula and simen aleph halacha aleph and Yodedeya. It's a chastira. Here's a befedische medrash and a befedische Mishnah shchitas avodim ksheira, and the Shulchan Aruch says shchitas avodim is psula, is a kosher apostle. Make up your mind. The Shach answers. Huh?
Once before the Torah was given, once after.
Okay, the Shach is a better
There
text.
was no Issa then.
No, but the Medrash is saying from here we learn halacha. And also with the Mishnah Zvachim, there's a Mishnah, the Fedish Mishnah, that says that avodim are could be shech. The Shulchan Aruch says avodim cannot shech. It's like a blatant steal.
Right.
So the Shach answers that child. I'm answering now. I'm using that teretz he's giving for that
What's the
steal.
Torah again?
His teretz is that it depends if it's an Eved Neman or not an Eved Neman. A regular Eved, we say Mefkeda Nichalei, and they're chosher to do all kinds of Avedas. But if you know that your Eved is medaktik b'mitzvahs,
It's like they're all reading them at sea. Why would they both say? Why would they say more clearly?
I think the Medrash is helping us, like Tovi. That's what the Medrash is saying. That Ze Eliezer nosan lo reshus mikan sheshchitas avadam ksheira. The pshat is like this. From here we learn, because Avram Avinu said Eidus, that Eliezer, the Mesak Eliezer, is a tzaddik. So we see that when the Eved is a tzaddik, that's a pshat. The Eved needs rishus. Why does the Eved need rishus? What do you mean need rishus? Obviously, if you have a behemoth, obviously I need rishus. Am I allowed to walk into your house and shecht your behemoth? I got it. The Mishnah is telling me, Mekan, that that the balabos gives rishus to the Eved to shecht. So without the Mishnah, you would think the balabos doesn't give rishus, and the Eved comes in with a chalaf and starts shechting every cow he wants. Elamai, no. The Medrash is saying that the Eved cannot shecht because we are choshed that he's not an Eved Neman. He's not medaktik b'mitzvahs. But when the balabayis gives rishus, means that he says, "Oh, you are Neman." So if the balabas stands up and he says, how does he stand up to show us that his Eved is Neman? When Avraham Avinu said, Eliezer shecht, so we all know now that Eliezer is an Eved Neman.
But then you're never going to have a standard. Every balabas thinks his Eved is Neman. He can give him just a shecht.
No, you know.
You should get it.
You know.
Eved should be a. Eved should have get a smicha. You should get smicha to do it. The balabas can't decide the Eved is Neman.
Well, obviously, we're talking about an Eved that knows all Hilchos Shechita. Otherwise, forget about it.
How can it go to learn Torah?
No, we're talking about an Eved here.
The other wasn't your typical
I was never
Eved.
allowed to learn Torah. The guy's not allowed to learn Torah.
No, the goy is not allowed. We're talking about a real Eved, an Eved that was mal, toivel.
Never Knani, you saying?
Yeah.
He's allowed to learn Torah?
Yeah, because he's a half a gay. He's a half a gay.
But what? So half a guy can learn Torah?
I guess he must. Otherwise, how is he going to shech?
Because we only allow gay to learn Torah if they're doing it al mas to become Yidden.
But he's
What
going to
if you're
become,
not
when he
allowed
ever in the shtachar, he's going to become a yid. I guess.
And also when B'Shas Maisa, Eliezer was considered a Yid, not shot half a Yid. Because Avraham Avinu, what was Avraham Avinu? He was a ger, so this guy just like Eliezer. How does Avraham Avinu's ger be worked that he's a Yid? Eliezer ger is worked that he doesn't a Yid. This
That's
is
a good
before
kasha.
I'm saying before
That's a good
Torah,
kasha.
before Matan Torah, everyone, if you did, or if you became a Talmud of Avraham, you agreed to do everything Avraham told you, you became a Yid.
No, but still, since the Mishnah, number one, since the Mishnah uses these words, mikan, that means that this is the halacha that we're learning from here. And anyway, it's also zilbas asvara. We're saying that a servant does not have any responsibility and is not a reliable person. And you see b'poil, people that are servants, that they're very low, they're low-life people. Because they don't feel a certain achrayas, they don't feel a certain...
But if you trust the Eved
So-
Kashrut in the house, you mean he knows all the mitzvot and all the...
Well, depends. We don't think that the Eved is going to go and take out of the fridge the kosher meat and try to maliciously put in treif. But when it comes to asak and shel shchita, which is a very delicate thing, we don't trust that he even... We're talking about an Eved that's a big Talmud Chacham. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What distinguishes someone who's an Eved and someone who's a Poel? Because I would have thought that Eliezer, who's the
He was an
second to Avram Avinu, he's his right-hand man.
Yeah, he was a tzaddik.
He's not an Eved, he's a Poel. So ultimately, I'm forcing the issue. What makes Eliezer an Eved, which seems like a low position,
The
like
Rav said,
Eliezer?
the Rav said that a regular Eved has to be, the one that can chef has to be an Eved.
No, I want
That's
to
half a
understand
Jew and half
the
a
difference
goy.
between an Eved and a Poel.
No, but he's asking, why couldn't it be that Eliezer
Poel
was
is
a
not an
Goy?
Talmud, it has to
Because
be-
the Torah says he was an Eved. The Torah says he was an
So what
Eved.
makes him an
Eved Avraham
Eved? How is he an Eved?
Avram Avinu
Even if
went...
you're so...
He went on a chain, everywhere he went, Avram led him on a chain.
But it sounds like when
Avram was a
Eliezer-
nice man. No.
Eliezer went...
When Avram bought him,
Yeah.
he was on a chain. Avram paid for him.
And Eliezer-
He unchained
Yeah,
him.
some say he was the Nimrod. So
Not Neri, he was Paris, he was...
he was a big guy.
When
He wasn't
Eliezer
really
was
on a
actually
chain.
Rivka,
He's a
he
big
wasn't
guy.
on
But
the
he
chain.
bought him on the slave market.
Did he? Oh,
He was an Eved.
no, I think he came down. He tracked it to Avram Avinu's greatness.
Chassidus says that was his mile, that
So,
was Eved Avraham.
If that was the case, then we have to figure out how he became an Eved. Usually an Eved, you buy him in the
Certainly, when
market.
he went to
It's
meet
like
Rivka, he
Timrah.
wasn't on a chain. He was his right-hand man of Avram Avinu. He
But
wasn't
the
the whole
Eved,
person.
the Torah calls him an Eved. So he
Okay.
had the din of an Eved.
He had the
He was an
people of
Eved because
Eved.
the
Ik wil naar
Jewish
hier
Chacham
gaan
was Eved Avodah.
He
was from Cham.
He was a Eved.
He wasn't a typical Eved.
Halavai, we should all be in that darga.
He was Cham. He was from Cham. Avram said, "You have a klal." He wanted to marry. He wanted his daughter
He
to marry
doesn't
Yitzchak.
marry, and he said no.
Avram said,
That's
"You're
because he
Cham."
wanted desert.
Okay, next question. Second
It
question.
was nothing like it.
A person,
Can't help it.
it says, Lamana Shitzav is born of his base, so he's a Shaila. What happened was like this. It was a father, he was a wealthy man, and he had his children, Baruch Hashem, he was a from Yid, they're all married nicely. The youngest son married a woman the father felt she was not
Money
like,
grip ticket.
she was not a Yerushalayim, she was not a good person. So, okay, his father had a lot of agmas nefesh. The son didn't want to listen, he dated the girl, married her, okay. Father passed away, left a tzavah, simple and straightforward. It was about $10 million, $2 million for each son. The youngest son, if he divorces his wife, he gets the $2 million.
Talk
If he
about
doesn't-
still controlling, huh?
If he doesn't divorce, he gets 2,000.
2,000.
Yeah, but how's he
2,000.
gonna know that he's not gonna just divorce her and then make a deal
That's
with
what he
her?
did.
the lawyer.
That's what he did. That's what he
back.
did. That's what he did. The brothers took him for Din Torah.
Because he did that.
But
Yeah, the brother said
he was okay.
he divorced the woman and and got his money.
And
Vayeira
don't-
young, Vayeira young. He remarried. Wow.
According to the language, maybe
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
How much
you gotta
after?
get those kind of languages to
We did
be
it.
Yeah,
that's
the young
how
women.
much after?
So this is, I'm telling you, that I don't know if the story happened. The Sefer about Evnar of Zoloshain says that this story came, Ma'aseh B'Poel, and that was the question. So first, L'choyre, there's a Befeirish Gemara and Erchin about this. It says, Moshe Baratzri, look in here, Tshuva, Yisa Be'erchin. It says in the Gemara Erchin, Gimel Amud Aleph, Moshe Baratzri Arva de Kalosa Hava, that he was a guarantor for the ksuva of his daughter-in-law. Rav Huna Bereit, sort of in the Rabbanan Hava. Rav Huna's son was a big Talmid Chacham, but Chikle Miltza was very poor. And there was Amr Abaye sat in the base medrash and said, Leke the Nasvi Eitzel Rav Huna, could someone not walk over to Rav Huna and give him an Eitzel? Tell him, listen, the Lagash Labiso, he should go divorce his wife, but Titwa Ksuvasa Mavua, she'll get the Ksuva from the father who guaranteed the Ksuva, and then Lahadra Mehadri, he'll remarry her. The Gemara asks all kinds of questions. Are you allowed to give such Eitzes to people? Crooked Eitzes like this.
How did
Basically,
he get it? I understand what happened.
that he got married.
Bali was very poor.
Rav Huna
Buddha was very.
was very poor,
Yeah.
and
Abaye said to him.
there was someone that a wealthy man guaranteed when Rav Huna got married. Rav Huna got
He
married.
got a great dowry.
That
Yes.
is low. That is
So-
low.
so-
So he just used the time like a door.
Yeah.
So that dowry was worth a lot.
Was a lot.
Why would you get divorced? Would it be worth money?
No,
Red Gam
if
Yisrael.
when he was a chassan, he had nothing. But he wrote a ksuba. He's saying that he's going to give $1 million to his wife if he divorces
Oh,
her.
if he divorced.
And who signed that ksuba? A rich man, Moshe Baratzri, signed it. So now let him divorce. Rav Huna said they should advise him he should get divorced. He can't pay a nickel or penny, so she's going to go to the guarantor of the ksuba. He's going to pay the $1 million. She'll have $1 million. They'll remarry. And they'll live happily ever after. Yeah.
Great remorse.
Maybe on the contrary. Maybe he did it because he wanted to give it to them when they got divorced.
Anyway, this is
He
a
wanted to
wild.
get divorced.
It's a wild Gemara. At the end, the funny thing is, at the end of the Gemara is they told Abai, "What are you talking about? One is a kohen. L'seif lemons a kohen."
I didn't even know that story. I think I was the Kohen.
No, that's the
I was
story.
waiting for the kind
No,
to
listen.
jump in there.
Amar Abaya, Boser Ania Anius. They always said the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. He said, the people that are poor, the poverty follows them. Forget about it. It's a funny Gemara, but the L'choyre is mashma that it works.
It's like a German
So
fraud.
Reb Chaim Kanievsky says no. It's a cute chiddush, but it doesn't work. Why? Because over there, a person made a deal with his wife. They get divorced, he gives her a ksuba. Whatever ksuba is worth, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. But he adds to it. He says, I'm going to add to whatever the Mona Masayim, I'm adding to it another amount of money, and he gets a guarantor. What's the difference why they got divorced? That's the din. They get divorced, he's chayiv to pay, and if he can't pay it, someone was a guarantor, he has to pay it. Here, everyone understands why the father said that he has to divorce the wife in order to get the $2 million, because he doesn't want the son to live with this woman. Not that they should make a knunya, an exercise. What did the father say? That if he gets divorced, he gets the $2 million. If he doesn't get divorced, he gets the 2,000. He meant to say, if he's going to live with this woman, he gets it.
So the Ramos doesn't work.
Yeah. So Reb Chaim Kanievsky said that if they can take him to the Torah and get back the money.
Yeah, but in the first,
That's
the
what he
story
says.
in the
That makes
Gemara,
sense to me. I don't know. A lot of the stories.
You would have heard about this.
but the story in the Gemara
You know
is the
there's a
same
children's
thing.
book,
His
Children's
intention
Speak?
is that
Yeah.
Because half the stories are made up in that book.
Oh, yeah,
The story in the
Maybe
Gemara,
that- maybe-
That's what they say about Varevna too.
the Gemara too. The Gemara too, the same thing. His intention is that he should have money.
Yeah,
He should get $1 million.
good. Emes, but over there, Lepoil, that's the din. You're chayiv to pay. Over here, the father had a befedish kavona, which is clear in the
Even
word.
if it's not in the language of the will.
That's what Reb Chaim Kanievsky says. I would tell you,
Look beyond
if
the
someone,
dollar- the
if
dollar
someone
envelopes
disagrees
of
with
the-
Reb Chaim Kanievsky, so then the son could go to Bezdin and say, Kimli, I hold like the other shit and not like Reb Chaim, so I keep the money. And Dinner Mummas, a person could always say, Kimli, I hold like the other shit.
See,
Okay.
if the father was smart, when
He would specify.
it's better. He said, ever
country.
Shemel.
One more thing. Third Sheilos. Zakis Doim V'Amoyda. There's a story the Gemara says that Eliezer, he came to visit Loit, saying he saw they were tormenting a poor man. So he got really angry, and he started hitting the people that were hitting the poor man. He said, "What? That's the way it works here. Poor man, you have to hit him. You're hitting us."
You have to pay
They
him
grabbed
for
him to Bezdin. They brought him to the shofet. Oh, so what happened
He's lucky
is
that he lived.
that one of the men that was attacking the Oni, when he saw he's offending the Oni, took a rock and threw it in the forehead of Eliezer. He started to bleed.
Oh.
They brought him to the shofet in Zdoim, and the shofet says, "Oh, he did Akoz's dam. He did bloodletting for you. So you're mechuyev to pay him 100 coins." So Eliezer took out a rock and threw it at the head of the Dayan. He started to
Then we're
bleed.
even. Then we're
He
even.
said, "Whatever money you owe me, pay him."
Gemacht Arabim.
I'm mit Shloshna.
But he's lucky because it says in stone one lady gave salt and they wrapped and they killed her in honey.
Eliezer, not with Eliezer.
Right.
Not Eliezer.
He was
So now turn the page. I'm cute, just a funny shaila. The Mordechai Eliyahu, the Rebbe was chaver on the L'chol Asher Yerucha, but especially people that were representative of Klal Yisrael. The Mordechai Eliyahu came to visit the Rebbe many times. The last time was in Tov Num Beis, and it was a cheshron. It was like the Kviyas of this year. It was a Sunday a week ago, and they asked the Rebbe. The Mordechai Eliyahu, the Rebbe said Gesundheit Heid. And the Rebbe came out, he walked, I guess the Rebbe's room was...
The library.
The Rebbe walked out, he walked to the library at the back, there was a room, and there's a lot of beautiful pictures about it.
Sunday he was saying there were too many swarm from Shabbos. They couldn't sit.
Yeah, it was probably too packed. So the Rebbe walked out of his
It's true.
room.
The
The Rebbe sometimes had so much stacks of svarim. So the Rebbe walked out of his room, he walked through the sukkah, and in the back the Rebbe had a room in the back of the library.
Did they have this on film?
Yeah, they have it. It's beautiful. They have beautiful pictures on it.
The Chiddush
And,
was
they
that
have
after
it-
the Rebbe stopped going to the library, that was the first time.
That was the first time. The Rebbe hasn't been there for years, right?
So it should be a
And
young.
it
We
was
should say
beautiful
that
pictures
No
a
time.
week ago. This
Yeah, we
happened
should
Sunday
have
week
said
ago.
that.
Only in a clear sentence.
So the kid said the Rebbe was Makabel Ponim. It was a beautiful conversation, and like the Rebbe's style in that year, everything connected to the Geula. Everything connected to the Geula. We were together last year, the Kiddush of Shluchim, when the Mordechai Eliyahu's son spoke. No, weren't we there? Because I remember the Mordechai. Not at the back. Oh, so you had a different. Oh, Motzah Shabbos.
Yeah.
Last year, Motzah Shabbos, and Mordechai
Borough Park.
Eliyahu. Yeah, it was in Borough Park. Now I remember. And Mordechai Eliyahu's son, who was a Choshev Erov in Eretz Yisrael, spoke, and he had a whole pshat about this Yechidus. Okay, so the pshat was like this. His pshat was that there's a story of the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov wanted to meet Reb, the Oirach Chaim, because he said that if they could meet the Ruach HaShem and the Shalom Shel Mashiach. So he said that he once was. He said that year that he was once in his father's house and it was late at night, and he picked up the phone. The phone rang. It was the Rebbe. And the Rebbe said, "Can I talk to your father? I'd like to know if it's before Tikkun Chatzos or after Tikkun Chatzos." That's the story he said. So he said that, what's Nageya before Tikkun Chatzos or after Tikkun Chatzos? What's Nageya? The Rebbe wanted to ask him a shayla, tell him something. So what's Nageya before? Elamai, the pshat is that just like the Baal Shem Tov wanted to meet the Oirach Chaim HaKodesh, because together they're going to bring Mashiach Tzedkenu, the Rebbe, the Tikkun Chatzos will bring Mashiach, and the Rebbe felt that together his father will bring Mashiach Tzedkenu. Okay. I'm just telling you the pshat that he said on Motzei Shabbos. He said it with his whole heart. He said it not as a pshetala. He felt that that was it.
Wow.
So I want to just do with you a little piece of discussion that Rebbe had. The Rebbe used to have it with him a discussion and learning. At the end, everyone left, and the Rebbe spoke to him, whatever private things the Rebbe spoke with him. So here it is, look in Ois Tez Vov, Rav Eliyahu Shlita. It says, "Negei l'shurim yitoch and shin lost lovik. If he should tzinu mesachas yom ha'shoicham pachas mekazayis bezman hazeh yichtav kishir hazeh chalti shem yibona beis hamikdash b'yom avis chadash beis nemitz chadash halacha b'yom ha'shakayim korban mekazayis kod." If a person eats a small amount of isur, and he goes to the Rav, and the Rav says, "You don't have to do tshuva for this because it's less than the shir." He should still write in his booklet, because maybe when Mashiach will come, the Bezdin will come again, and they'll open up all the books of Avram Chaim Noah and the Chazanish, and they'll open up the Noida B'Yehuda, and they're going to tell us what a kazayis is. Not a kazayis like this. Not it's going to turn out it's a kazayis like this.
You have to be a korban.
And
It can't be smaller than today's kazayis.
Huh?
It can't be smaller than today's kazayis.
Right, exactly. Maybe they're going to say that today's kazayis is really the
That
kazayis.
was the Scott now.
Yeah,
Is there anybody who doesn't have to be a korban?
maybe they're going to say, "This is kazayis. Don't tell me Neskat." Maybe that's what Bezdin might say.
Anybody who's not going to have to be a korban when Mashiach comes?
Right, have to, how many? It's to keep a ledger. So the Rebbe said like this: the shiurim, nothing is going to change when Mashiach is going to come. Shiurim is a zeitige Zach. Shiurim wa inyam fe'atzme, ki gam kish'eni chai bekorban, ne she'oichel pachas bekashir reze davar iser, ki me she'ashiru rak l'gabi oynish, aval ha'isur betakpoi, gam bepachas meshir, she'rechatz shir osam and atoyre. The Rebbe says nothing, no big deal is going to change. The shir doesn't change the isur. Something that's be'etzem osur is osur. Well, the shir is just a question l'gabi oynish. So the Belial asked like this a shayla, nistapakti, v'odem shikas Vayeira hakodesh ein b'shava pruta shaloike. A person that hits someone else, if it's less than a shava pruta, the hit, he gets malchus. If the akoh has a shava pruta in it, shemishalem ve'enei loike. So it's an unusual thing. If a person hits the chaver and the hit was so strong that it chveis and Bezdin says you have to pay $25, he pays $25. He doesn't get malchus. But if he gives him a tiny clap like this, there's no value. Then he gets 39 malchus. So, frek the Mordechai Eliyahu, how about that person that gave a little zetz to Chaver and they're about to give him 39 malchus? It's going to hurt. So he says, you know what? Let me give him another zetz. Together it's going to be worth at least a shava pruta.
If it's mitzarev.
It's mitzarev.
That's it. Got the psak in. You can't.
Listen, just read it inside.
That makes sense.
No, it wasn't a psak then. Say it wasn't a psak.
How do you know he's chayav 39 malchus?
He hears, people are telling him, where that Baden
So
are
there's no
walking.
psak yet, but they're telling him what the psak is going to be.
He knows what's going to happen. Im yochel, read inside. Im yochel lachzor lakois hakosh ein b'sheva pruta. Could he hit him hakosh ein b'sheva pruta? Ba'ofen sheshtei hakos yitztarfu l'sheva pruta. Yishalem sheva pruta. Yipoter b'malkus. Oy, shekol hakoh b'fnei atzman. Gerem eschiv
We
malkus.
might get 2 times malchus.
He'll get 2 times.
It has to be
It's
Doesn't have to be tough. Can they dibur?
That's a shayla. It's all part of a shayla. If a person's in a brawl with a chaver, are you going to say you're going to make you're going to give him 100 times for every clap, 100 times? If
It's half time. That's it. The buzzer sounded and it's over.
Exactly. So that's a shayla. That's a shayla. So the funny thing is, what does that ever answer? You expect the psalm? This it says ashir the shava pruta benegei lechiv tashlumim. This question of shava pruta is about paying. Avgam pochas mashir shein chiv tashlumim yeshna yisur ka'amur shegam chatzi shir also min ha'toira. So
You get 2 times.
So the Rebbe is not answering the shayla.
Right. What about malchus? He's not saying whether you get malchus or not.
Now he asked the question. What kind of answers
It's
it?
as good as the question.
It's as good as the question. Yeah, welcome to does.
Well, we don't see the rest of the shak. I'll tell you.
No. Then it goes into
That's where
another.
it stops.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what
where
I
does it
think.
get us?
So I'll tell you what I think is. This is not a pilpul. This is a discussion, right? Look at the words of the question. Could he do it? Could he do it? The question is, could he do it? They said there was a yid that came to Bezdin, and they said that Reuven, the Edom said that Reuven gave a slap to Shimon. Slap is a very big thing in the face. So they machayiv him. So Bezdin said it was $50. He pulls out 100. He says, anyone has changed? No one has changed. He goes over, give him a second slap. He says, here's $100. That sounds like Sdoim, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so the same thing here. Here, the Mordechai Eliyahu is saying, Im yochel achzor lakoisai. The Rebbe says, Eino yochel. The Rebbe is not answering if he did it. What, you're asking yochel. The guy wants to now, instead of
one Vayeira,
So it's not
half an
Yahshua.
Vayeira.
right,
It's not a So
It's Yochel. The Rebbe says Yochel, Eino Yochel.
Right.
You're asking Yochel, the answer is Eino Yochel.
wait, Mordechai Eliezer didn't know that before. I mean,
But the Rebbe can't conceive of saying that you can do it.
so
you can hit
so
somebody.
it's more than the halacha. It's the yashrus of the Rebbe.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
Eino
it's
Yochel.
conception. The Rebbe can't
Yeah.
conceive
How
of
could
somebody
it-
giving another one a patch.
Yeah, Eino Yochel. You're asking Yochel? You're asking Yochel? I'm telling you, Eino Yochel. You're asking Yochel? Eino Yochel.
That's not discussion.
But Lepoil,
You didn't want to get into the ramifications.
Exactly.
That's what the Rebbe said.
Exactly.
You don't want to get into the ramifications.
So that's a bigger.
now
musar
I would like to
than
write it
the
up
halachic
and
answer.
publish it
Exactly.
maybe in
Yeah.
Artists of Bureau, and someone's going to tell me, no, you're wrong. There's a moited to a deep chidush here, and Yaakov. But I think that's a pshat. He said Yochel. The Rebbe said Eino Yochel. So
Because
here,
you can be sure there are people in Israel he could have asked the question, but to hear the musar,
Yeah,
that it's
exactly.
not possible.
It's
that he had to
impossible.
go to
Eino
Crown
Yochel.
Heights.
Exactly. So the Rebbe, afterwards, the Mordechai Eliyahu had a beautiful word. I just want to tell you. I didn't copy this, but I just want to tell it to you about Peh. He said there's a sefer Yoshev Olam. It says like this. It says that v'hi nostal min eitz va'oichel. So Adam Rishon said. So Chazal said, "What do you mean va'oichel? Va'ochal." It should say va'ochalti, past tense. Ochalti va'oichel oid. Avram Adam Rishon said, "I ate from the fruit, the forbidden fruit, and I'm going to eat more." The Eibush said, "Why did you eat?" So he said, "He nostal min eitz va'oichel. Ochalti va'oichel oid." All the Muslims what I'm talking about. Oh, it was a chutzpah. Oh, the Rishon, chutzpah. This sefer has a murder the Kepshat. He says, no. He said to the Eibishter, what do you want? I'm a big Talmid Chochem. I'm a London. Ochalti pachas mikazayis. I'm going to wait, kedei achilas pras, and then I'm going to eat another half kazayis. You told me not to eat. And my wife is screaming and begging me to eat.
Why is that less of a
I figured I'd do a lomdus.
Oh.
The Abisha said, don't eat. And my wife is nagging me to eat. So I said, you know what? I'll make everyone happy. I'm going to eat
now
a half
nobody's happy.
kazayis.
Nobody's happy.
Okay, but the yud is still in the ish.
Exactly.
Yep.
So,
That's like Stein.
and that's what the Abisha answered. The Abisha said, Hamina eitz asher tzivisichel bilde achol memena acholto. The Abisha said, what do you mean? If I tell you not to eat, the chatzah shit is also awesome in a Torah. Kazayis is only when you're going to get an oynish. But when I said not to eat, I meant not to eat a crumb of it.
This is a riot that it wasn't a cherry. Because no one eats half a cherry.
That's good for it.
Or a grain. It says, some say it's grain.
Right, grain.
It wasn't grain. How do you have the grain?
The one was, it was not an
I
apple.
gotta go.
So I just want to be Messiah with this. A nice word that I think.
Probably the
Oh,
person-
now I have it. I think from this, just a nice word.
Punishment.
That
The
my
Rebbe said,
brother-
"Ein a yochel."
No. Listen.
The
My
Rebbe
brother has
just
a
said,
beautiful
"Have a
word.
shear ein a yochel."
Not gonna be.
Listen to this word.
You
There
said
is
you mentioned-
oynish, and no, but I'm saying from this word, there's a oynish. The Eibusha told Adam Rishon, "B'yom acholchem memenu toiv mois Thomas." The day you will eat, you will die. He didn't die that day. He died about 1,000 years later.
In 1,000 years is one day in Hashem's eyes.
That's one answer. That's one answer.
Yeah?
Well, according to this, you could give another answer. You could say like this. The Eibusha told him, oh, you're right. Oynish, you won't get. Oynish, you won't get. But a couple of klolas, you get. Because oynish, you're right. You're right. You said you ate less than a kazayas, and there was you waited another. You were a big Talmid Chochem and a big Lamden, and you used your Chochma instead of doing the.
No, how do we know that he thought that? Maybe just he's using it to defend himself. When he originally did it, he didn't want to eat. He's not a moomer, but he didn't want to mirror like the tribe.
It doesn't change my word. That you could say that that's the pshat. That Eibusha told him he's going to die. He didn't die that day because he ate less than the shear.
Right.
But a klola to gecha. Because what does that teach us? Because in the Rebbe said in the name of his father-in-law that in America there's a machla, and the machla is menmog. You're allowed to. But Chassidus understands that not everything that we're allowed to is good for us. Really, that the Indian is that we have to mekadosh ourselves dafka things that are mutter to us, that we make of ourselves a kodesh through that. And this coming last night there was a video, but I didn't see it. I saw next week's. This next week you'll see there's in the story, in the Gem Stories, there's a young man that tells a beautiful story. He had the Yechidus with the Rebbe, and he was confused about this eskafi. He became a Lubavitcher.
We saw it last night.
Oh, you saw? Oh,
It's last week.
it is last week.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I saw ahead.
No, because David said that.
Rabbi Bergstein.
No, he's
You saw
ahead.
this?
He's a beautiful guy. Someone said we have to bring him down for you to Skisling.
Maybe we should bring him once.
Yeah.
I was
I think
very
we should.
friendly with him all the years.
Wow, he speaks a beautiful Yiddish and English. Perfect.
Yeah. Maybe we should. Okay.
So what's he saying?
Oh, so what he said was, I thought everyone saw it.
No, we want to hear it.
So he said that he was.
It's nothing like us singing and you singing.
You see the same thing.
No, you have the.
Rabbi Bergstein became a Lubavitcher Talmud, and he went to Tomchet Mimim. And he was hearing from Reb Shlomo Chaim about Iskafia. And he felt like it's dragging him down. He's becoming like a miserable person. And he wrote to the Rebbe about this. And the Rebbe, the next Yechidus, the Rebbe told
And
him.
he knew that Chassidus is supposed to be happy, but
And he said, he saw the Elter Chassidim were very happy people.
He's not.
And yeah, so the Elter Chassidim are happy people, and he's miserable. So he realized that he's missing something. And the Yechidus, the Rebbe said that you're missing the whole point of what is Skafi. Skafi is not to belittle yourself or to break yourself. The Rebbe said, I'll give you an example. If there's a fetish, shtickle fleish, av the teller, and you realize that the only reason it's not going to give you any nutrition, the only reason you want to eat it is because your nefesh Bahamas wants the pleasure. So the strength of your nefesh Elokis shines through and says, I don't need this. I don't need these extra calories of fat. I don't need this. Not that you're trying to break the nefesh Bahamas. The strength of the neshama says, I have a mission to do. I have to be healthy to carry through my mission. Why am I going to waste my time letting this give me a cholesterol and give me a headache that I don't need? The skaf is not chas v'shom to break the nefesh Bahamas. Fakir. It's to help the nefesh Bahamas fulfill its mission. And that's the Indian that Chassidim said that was meant Torah Manisha. You're not allowed to eat it, you're not allowed to eat it, you're not allowed to have it, you're not allowed to have it. But even things that are mutter, we train ourselves that the toikef or the nefesh Elokis should shine through, that we have the power over our life because we are very excited about the mission that we're doing in life. We're very excited about life itself. And the way you talk is so Elter Chassidim, that were very happy people, elderly people, they're always besimcha. Because they knew they have a very important mission in life. And I'm not going to let the nefesh Bahamas in the world get in its way.